Hey, what's up, guys?
What up, Dirty Mike?
Hey, can you hear me, EJ?
Yep.
All right,
Sound good.
we'll give a couple minutes for everybody to get in there. Had some classic rock going. I don't know if you got to hear any of it on the YouTube stream.
Oh, did you?
Oh
No.
yeah, I had Hotel California, Ain't No Sunshine, Sultans of Swing was the last one on. I love Dire Straits.
I love Dire Straits too, actually. Yeah.
There's such an
That's a
yeah.
go-to karaoke too.
Oh man, it's a great one. When's the last time
Um,
you did karaoke?
dude, before COVID, my best friend Curtis and I, one of my partners in crime for the Sushi Cup of Destiny,
Yes.
we do a mean. I would walk 500 miles. The Proclaimers,
With the accent and
like,
everything?
oh yeah, oh it's the Badadatas.
Oh yeah.
Dude, we'll all have to meet up at some point and have like an EverReflect karaoke night somewhere, and like that would be a lot of fun.
Seriously, I want to definitely get to meet up sometime soon, for real.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in Nashville in July because I have some business meetings set up with some of the partners that I've had with like William Morris and CAA, and uh, they're all they're all kind of agents, but like if you know the music industry, those agents uh, facilitate a lot of the booking with a lot of the bigger promoters. So gonna go down there and visit some friends, and it's gonna be my brother's bachelor party too. So I'll probably put out just an announcement that we'll be doing like a trip to Nashville one weekend in July, and then anybody that wants to meet up with us, I can just let everybody know where we're staying, and then do like maybe even like an EverReflect, meet and greet, hang on out. We'll pick up some appetizers and stuff like that, but
Oh
kind of
man,
informal,
yeah. If we're meeting up like that, it's gonna be more than appetizers.
more than appetizers.
Yeah, we got to get a
Keeping
couple
it PG.
get a couple hotel rooms or something. Let me see how far I am from Nashville. Even though like I actually South Carolina borders Tennessee,
Yeah.
and I'm actually only about 50 miles from the border of Tennessee, but it's literally the completely other side of the state to where it's like 359 miles.
Oh yeah.
Friggin' that
So
Tennessee's crazy wide.
yeah, and I think it's 8 hours from Michigan, or it was 8 hours from Chicago. It might be more like nine or nine and a half from Lansing, Michigan, but I love Nashville, so that'll be a
I've
good.
actually never been there.
No,
No.
yeah, it's a good little time. So, um, how do you want me to just talk as though it's my own Telegram, or do you wanna quiz me and ask me like insightful questions about my life, or how do you want to do this one?
We could just do it. You could just kind of talk about some stuff, and then I'll throw some questions at you. And I got a live stream going up on YouTube right now, so for some questions, if anybody has any, we got a couple people in it too. So, all right, guys,
Perfect.
we have EJ with EverReflect with us today. We are hosting our very first AMA here on the Dirty Mike and the Boys Telegram channel. Thank you guys who are with me for joining. I know we kind of changed it up a little bit, so I'm sure a lot of the people who were planning on being in it weren't able to, but we are going to be taping it. So I'll post a link for both my group and your group, EJ, in case anybody wants to
Yeah.
check it out after we record it.
Yeah, and we have it streaming live onto our YouTube as well, so
Oh, cool. That sounds
that's
good.
good.
So we got it on two
Are you
YouTubes then right
hearing?
now.
Are you hearing me? Is my laptop repeating myself, or am I
No,
echoing
you
anybody?
actually sound fine. No
Okay,
echo or anything. You're good.
cool. So I guess I can go through just the quick overview of updates.
Well, actually, why don't you introduce yourself? Because actually, some of the members that I have in this group here are completely unrelated to reflection tokens. This is a Dirty Mike and the Boys is a mismatch of people from all different groups. So we actually have some people running in this group that are kind of outside our normal, circle that we run in, where everybody's kind of in the same group. So there's some people in here who aren't familiar with you or EverReflect. So this would probably be a good time to actually kind of, explain the project and kind of just explain what you guys are about to kind of, pick up some new followers maybe.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm EJ with EverReflect. We're a utility token that's traded on the Binance Smart Chain. It's a reflection token that pays in BUSD rewards. We launched January 20th of this year and had some pretty amazing success right out of the gate. Did like 1 million BUSD in rewards in the first 24 hours, got CMC, CoinGecko, all that stuff right away. It's a 17% tax, which was reduced, but it is a high tax token. The beauty, though, of the high tax is that we wanted to give back the rewards to the holders. This was truly a project that was started as the brainchild of myself, my dad, and my brother. So 15% of that is BUSD rewards back to every holder. 1% goes into the liquidity pool. 1% goes into the marketing wallet. The overall project, I can say this, that our flagship big utility is going to be the NFT ticket minting and ticketing platform for live events, for concerts, for venues, locations, festivals, etc. I have a 21 year career in large scale event planning that has included everything from music festival promotions and sponsorship to working with organizations like the Chicago Cubs, Chicago Bears, Buick, Nissan, the NCAA. Have been a part of all. I know that you had said that you just popped over to the Fan Fest for one of the regional things for the NCAA. So we used to be in charge of all of those, all the displays and hundreds of thousands of dollar setups for Buick. Would run Fan Fest at the Final Fours, and so that was a lot of fun. College football.
Yeah, the Fan Fest was actually pretty cool yesterday. I got to go down to it, and what was cool was they had you buy a wristband for $1, and then they had beer stations set up to where everybody, no matter what beer, was $5, whether it be Mick Ultra or like I got this Victory Brewing one that was like 9.5%, and I was texting you and slurring all kinds of texts yesterday, man. It was.
Your text messages were great.
Oh
yeah. The Fan Fests are a lot of fun. The Final Four one is usually massive because it's just tens of thousands of people that come into those, and then have displays from all the sponsors that are NCAA partners. And yeah, I've done a lot as far as most of my background obviously is in the entertainment, sponsorship, promotion, event planning space. So that's what's led to this combination of basically two passions. I've been in cryptocurrency for going on about 4 years now. Really started heavily in about 2017, buying some Bitcoin and transferring it over to Bovada, and then that's just one thing has led to another. Have met some great individuals. The project itself was actually started in essence with a smaller group of crypto buddies. EP, who's on our board, and then Yost, who's also on our board. Crazy part about that is I think it was somewhere in the November timeframe, maybe even like late October, and I was chatting with those guys, and we have a crypto group that we kind of go into projects together on. And even though I started this with my dad and my brother, it was like it's not really scary to share it with your family, right? And I shared it with both of those guys. And they're like, yeah, I like this. Let's go for it. Let's try it. And so it's interesting. If those two gentlemen had on day one probably told me, EJ, nobody's going to pay a 20% tax at launch and 15% BUSD sounds great, but it's already been done. And we don't think that it'll end up working out, but they were on board, have been massive supporters, and really influences on the entire project from day one. So we have an amazing team, 13 board members, a countless number of moderators and admins that have just done a stellar job over the last couple months that we're crazy indebted to just for their time commitment and what they've done with the project. And yeah, it's been special. Honestly, that's the best way I can kind of describe it, because where we're at already, it doesn't happen a lot. And to even be, you know, I know that some people have staked their tokens, that we have partnerships with Brew Labs, we have partnerships with MetaBUSD, partnerships with Green Life Energy, who just had a huge announcement a few minutes ago that they're partnering with another big, major, one of the world's largest energy companies. So we're strategic. We have very strategic goals. We have very strategic timelines. We have expertise in all those different areas to facilitate this whole project and to build out these utilities. But you know, we're a big advocate for the Unite DeFi concept of partnering with other projects that have real world cross utilization for our tokens, but also that can implement utilities that can be implemented into hopefully everyday lives. You know, I still think that we're a few months or even a couple of years off from the everyday mainstream people, you know, the average Joe per se that goes into the gas station to be potentially purchasing, say, a Snickers bar and a Mountain Dew with cryptocurrency. But we're on the cusp of, you know, a whole paradigm shift of what people think of how they actually purchase assets or how they end up purchasing products. And that's the beauty of what we're doing with EverReflect with the ticketing business, is that, you know, the ticketing business is massive, into the billions, if not trillions, globally. I had read a report just about Live Nation that they sold 500 million tickets
That's
in
amazing.
2009. Yeah, and that's only one concert promoter. Granted, they're the biggest concert promoter in the globe, but you take into consideration that's just music at large venues. Then you start taking into consideration water parks, or amusement parks or museums, and then all the one-off festivals that we have. Like, I'm the marketing director for MichiganFun.com, or Michigan Festivals and Event Association here in Michigan. We have over 500 festivals represented by our association alone. And none of those actually are Live Nation related, because Live Nation is just concerts. So you think of we're doing an economic impact study actually for the state of Michigan from 2019 to see what the impact of festival revenue and festival tickets have for just our state. And it's been estimated at $1 billion, but that number's just been thrown out there. So we're expecting it to be somewhere in the range of between $7 and $10 billion annually that is generated from the small local, you know.
That's just
80s
one
festival.
organization. Yeah, that's just one organization doing it. So it just
Right.
shows how massive it is. And, you know, the good thing about what you're doing is, you know, with the background that you have is, you know, you're not just going to be starting from the, you know, ground up of, you know, trying to figure out how to get into the concert space and how to apply, you know, what you're trying to do. You can really kind of hit the ground running with the experience and the connections that you already have, right?
Yeah, that is a big aspect of being able to facilitate the kind of the bridging of the gaps that a lot of the relationships I built over the last 21 years. We've already announced 6 of those partnerships, with 3 of them allowing us to do beta testing for our NFT tickets over the next. It started this month with the minting. One of those is the 80s Festival. One of those will be the Bay City Pig Roast or Pig Fest, depending on what they're going to end up calling it. The Gilmore Car Museum, and then 3 musicians that are all country artists, but smaller regional artists. Carrie Holmes, the Family Tradition Band, and then John King. So the cool part with this in the beta testing is that we're getting it down. So Chris from MetaBUSD or MetaCaptain, as a lot of people know him online, Chris has a ton of experience as far as Web3 development, and he's just a cleaner, better, faster, everything as far as the minting process that I was doing personally with my NFTs. He came on board as basically being an EverReflect dev. It's not even official as far as like being on the website, but he would attest to it too, that like he's definitely a part of the dev team.
Chris is everywhere. He's a part of every team,
Yeah.
I think.
Right, and because he brings so much knowledge and so much experience, that in a world that, you know, is so new, to find a guy that has done so many experiences, that has done so many things as far as contracts and like, you know, to run certain operations. And my team will tell you that like I'm a massive fan of testing, and we tested, you know, 3 mainnet contracts before we launched EverReflect, and we did 20 some testnet contracts. I'm a big fan of testing and a big fan of making sure that, you know, we're getting a solid product out there. But yeah, the merger of what we can do in the entertainment business with this NFT ticket platform is going to be a pretty smooth transition. But the beauty of the transition is that it's not a massive adoption transition, because people are so familiar with already taking a ticket, showing it on their phone, from an email, and their Apple Wallet. It's going to be basically the same idea, but you're just showing an NFT ticket. And then with an NFT ticket, from a lot of the festival promoters to the venue owners to the individual artists, it affords them so many different options to look at security from just the verification process, so that the counterfeiting becomes less of an issue. The concept of being able to pay out a royalty. So if you're the original seller of the ticket and there's a resale on the secondary market, that you could receive, you know, a 5% royalty, let's say, so that you receive some of that secondary ticket revenue. Metadata that we can put into these NFTs so that you can have access to special events in VR, or that you might have special access to links for music or video. We can also, in essence, embed EverReflect tokens into the NFT itself, so that there will be some value of EverReflect tokens built into the NFT ticket. So every NFT ticket holder to start out will also, as long as you own an NFT ticket, you basically are going to be an EverReflect holder. That'll show up on the chart. We're building out this platform with the concept that you're buying a ticket. So you're going to be buying a ticket with fiat.
But you'll kind of be almost indirectly joining the crypto space without even knowing it. And that kind of gives you your first kind of exposure to it, right?
Right, exactly. So like the best way that I can kind of describe it is, if you say you're going to go to a show and you were going to spend, say, $100 on a ticket, you might pay $115 with service fees total. Well, to the ticket seller, usually they would end up, say it's the venue, they would receive about $90. That leaves about $25 over as far as service fees, taxes, credit card processing fees, you know, maintenance for the platform fees, all of that stuff combined together. Well, we are going to take some of that, say $25. These are obviously hypothetical numbers, but we're going to take some of that amount and we're just going to convert it straight over into crypto. So either all $25 is converted straight into BUSD because it's a stable coin, or we will convert it all into EverReflect. But regardless, some of it, I'm sorry, Brody's getting all over me. Some of that $25, whether it be $5, $10, $15, the metrics and those numbers will be released per ticket, will go into just buying EverReflect tokens and then burning those tokens. So there will never be, in essence, you'll own the NFT ticket. It'll have EverReflect built into the ticket, so you're a holder. But then the tax will go directly into the chart. It'll basically only affect the liquidity pool in a positive way.
You got to protect the pool, baby.
Right, protecting the pool. And so it'll go directly into the chart as a green candle, and then those tokens are gone. So eventually, because we minted 1 quadrillion, we burnt 50% before launch, and now we're down to I think 460 trillion as far as circulating supply. But it'll continue to keep basically lowering that circulating supply, and as that circulating supply keeps getting reduced, obviously less in circulation means that there's less available. Price will end up going up. And I say this a lot, that this project wasn't built from a short-term concept. It was built with the long-term concept of getting in a new ticketing platform, because if anybody's ever purchased tickets from Ticketmaster or any outlet really, there's so many issues with the ticketing industry to begin with. So a new ticketing platform amongst the crowd is something that we already need, because I use them every summer and every fall for the events here in Michigan. But it needs to be something that can be utilized by the everyday person that just wants to buy with a debit card. Like you said, they're going to be facilitating working in the crypto space, but they won't necessarily realize that they're even operating in DeFi or on the blockchain. And then the benefits, I think, will just come in not the short term as far as the and only help from that perspective. But yeah, the capabilities of this project to grow, to scale, and to, in all honesty, affect markets outside of the crypto industry. We've even had this conversation as a team of like holding back some of these marketing dollars. Like, why aren't we buying the influencers? Why aren't you spending it on call groups and Telegram? Why aren't you end up doing any of this kind of stuff that is the typical move for most crypto projects? And I'm like, it's because we're not an atypical crypto project. There's nothing about this that is going to be our main flagship utility. Nothing about it is going to be in the BSC bubble. We're going to be in the main population that if you want to go to an event like the 80s Festival, that is one of our partners in Frankenmuth, if you want to attend an event, you don't care that it's on the blockchain.
Right.
You just care about attending that specific event, and you want that experience. So we're no longer, I say this to a lot of the holders of EverReflect. We're not selling the idea of EverReflect to just new holders. We're literally selling the concept of experiences that are tangible, that'll have memories, that people will be able to engage with friends and family, that you don't see that merger, I guess you could call it, for too many crypto projects. Because most crypto projects, granted, we're doing the same thing. Like, we're going to have a BSC chart that's coming out in the second quarter. We're working with DGEM as far as the code, and one of our devs, Stu, is developing some other stuff that he's been looking at as far as the charting systems and message boards and all that kind of stuff. So we're developing a utility that'll have ad spend, and it'll be targeted just to inside the BSC bubble for second quarter. But the main thing that gets me excited, and why I work on this, 7 days a week and hours upon hours every day, that gets me excited, is that we're selling experiences. We're not selling just an idea of a reflection token or a cool name or something that has Ever in it, or the fact that it's BUSD, or that, the chart looks good. It's like, you're doing this. You're going to end up buying EverReflect based on the fact that, say John King, amazing country artist, not that big as far as his touring size at this moment, but he writes songs for Randy Houser, and actually wrote one of Randy Houser's #1 singles. Say that guy blows up and he's using our EverReflect tickets for his concerts. People are going to go see John. They're not buying a ticket because it's an EverReflect ticket or because it's crypto related. They want to go see John King live, or the same thing with Carrie Holmes or any of the other artists and other venues and festivals that we're going to end up signing on board with this, because it's the experience. That's what they want.
And you know what I think is going to happen, honestly, once some of the artists also start getting wind that some of the artists are collecting money on the secondary market through this feature, that they're going to want to switch over to, capitalize on that secondary market that they're, missing out on.
Right. And I think that you're going to see, it's, working in ticketing for so long, that the big selling feature for any ticketing platform currently, if you're selling your own tickets, is the ease of use for your consumer. How many clicks does it take? So we're making sure that this is going to be low click-through rate. And then the ease of basically getting your funds. So if you're the promoter and you're selling tickets and you want to collect basically the revenue from tickets sold, in Ticketmaster's case, they can hold it for a week or sometimes 2 weeks after. Same thing with Eventbrite. Those are your two biggest things. You want to have the ease of use so that your consumers can buy it and that you get your money from the ticket sales. So that's kind of it's interesting that it's that simple, but those are the biggest parameters that a festival organizer or a venue is looking at right now. Now you couple that with the idea that once they see the power of being able to sell these tickets with the blockchain or blockchain technology, and that you can offer the additional security of validation. If it's a ticket that's $100 and resells for $500, you can get that return as far as the royalty on it. The idea of the NFT ticket itself having, most people know NFTs is just as pieces of artwork. Like, that's going to be another aspect of, we have Noodles, who's one of our graphic designers for EverReflect, and the guy is just an amazing artist. And the stuff that he creates digitally, like we had released that first 80s Fest ticket for Frankenmuth that we'll be beta testing and sending out to our focus groups. And we're going to be airdropping those people into their trust wallets to start. And hopefully we'll catch some video of them being able to show off on their phones, basically the NFT tickets that they can go and redeem in Frankenmuth. But what's cool about it is that the artwork doesn't have to end just because that's what everybody else does with normal NFT tickets. Like, we can incorporate an aspect of the artwork into the ticket itself that'll have some long-term value. Sorry, get the dog.
What's up, Brody? How's Brody feeling?
Yeah. He's good. He's no longer in the cone.
He's out of the cone of shame?
He's out of the cone of shame, and now he's literally just driving the cat insane, trying to get to her food. And he always, it's weird. He'll usually nap throughout the day, but I don't know if it's like being on VC sometimes. It's like he wants to literally just be a part of the action. So then he's always jumping on me while I'm usually doing an AMA.
Yeah,
so.
He knows. He's a star. He wants to be a part of it.
Dude, he is. I know. It's so funny. Like, there was never any girls that were in cryptocurrency that ever chatted with me.
Yeah.
And then as soon as there's like photos of Brody that are posted, like, oh, your dog's so cute. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that they're, yeah. Like, forget EverReflect.
Yeah.
Forget.
Brody helps turn you into a crypto pimp, man. You got to have that wing dog.
Yeah, I'm not. No comment because of who I'm with.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I know that that's kind of like long-winded, but I'm excited about this project, and it has nothing to do with it just being a token that can be traded and that you're trying to look at what the chart is for today. Like, most days, I will say this, that I don't check the chart until the afternoon, because my day's usually so full of like going between one conversation about festivals, one conversation about crypto. It's like the greatest, honestly, it's the greatest position I've ever been in, as far as, having to do something and work that I love. But like, it's literally, my days are fused between the back and forth of one versus the other, of two things that we're just trying to bring together. And we have the team to do it. We have people that are passionate, that are in the community. We have the ability in a lot of ways to, and I say this highly of our team in general, we have the ability to build rapport and real friendships with other smart people in this community, outside of just EverReflect. And that's where that Unite DeFi stuff comes back in, that like we're making alliances. And I had somebody the other day that was just like, well, you hosted Metabolic, for example, and Metabolic's getting into the gaming. And they're like, what's the point of hosting an AMA that, you know, with another token that you're not talking about EverReflect? It's friendship. Like, it's community. Like, we're all small tokens here, and we all have to support each other. And the concept of building real rapport with real projects that are legit, with good people that are working hard every day, passionate about what they're doing, like, there's always room for those people in our inner circle. There always will be. And you continue to keep meeting those people in this space over and over, good things happen. And then we've already seen it already, but good things are going to continue to keep happening, because that's our mission, that's our focus, that's what we go back to every single day as far as what we want to build. And we have the goals and the team to do it. So,
well, you did a great job explaining everything, especially for people who, you know, may be new. And, you know, like I said, we're recording this, and, you know, we'll be able to get this out to a lot more people who, you know, may not have been able to been on the call today.
Yeah,
so why don't
you always broadcasting that?
Yeah, of course. I definitely like doing that to give people a chance. But why don't you let everybody know kind of like what kind of timeline you're on right now, like where you're at right now, and, you know, what you're working on like in the immediate future right now. I know you mentioned, you know, you're doing the beta testing and stuff like that, and just kind of give like a little bit of an update for everybody. And then we can do some questions if you guys have any questions. We don't want to keep everybody on for too long.
Yeah, so I mean, right now with those 3 events specifically that we're basically minting the beta test tickets, they'll be handed out for free to focus groups. So these will not be for sale. They'll just be for basically people within the EverReflect community, to go out to be able to get some documentation of them redeeming the tickets. Those focus groups will also be required to like take video, take photos of the experience, and just the simplicity of being able to actually redeem a ticket as an NFT versus as a PDF, for example.
Yeah.
Timeline wise, we're still looking third quarter for the platform. There's no, we're making progress every day, and we're definitely, there's certain aspects that you're ahead of schedule, and then there's other aspects that we need to build so correctly that we can't get wrong the first time out of the gate. And so even though this was going to be the biggest part of the project itself, it was always in the third quarter of this year, because it takes the most complexity as far as the build out, so that when you're converting the fiat, that you get basically the NFT ticket into the EverReflect app, which is technically a wallet, but a wallet that'll be just basically an NFT ticket viewer of the full ticket. Being able to coordinate that with being able to be on like the Apple Store, with being able to be in the Android store as well, so that people can just download that, be able to purchase the tickets with fiat. And then the other aspect, and I say this a lot on our AMAs, that for example, like say my colleagues that I used to work with in Chicago that are connected with like the Ricketts family and the Chicago Cubs, like I can't set up meetings, or our team can't set up meetings with certain individuals like this and just take in basically a half-done ticketing platform or product that, okay, it seems cool. You guys, a lot of people see it with a lot of tokens where it's like, all right, we're going to come out with a utility, and then it's going to be kind of something that's, will anybody utilize it? Is it really going to have some much value? If there's web traffic at our website, maybe somebody will like log in and use it. This platform has to be something that out of the gate, the colleagues that I've worked with in the entertainment field for the last 21 years will want to use. And they'll have to be able to use it in a way that makes sense to them, because it covers those two aspects of, like I said, that their customers are able to purchase the tickets easily with debit or credit card, that is low click-through rate, but then also that they're paid out basically the revenue that they've earned, because they're the one hosting the event or the festival or the venue, that they get paid out faster, easier, however those metrics will set up. That's why they'll utilize a platform. The NFT and blockchain technology aspect of it is going to be all bonus to certain people, because they're just going to be using it because it's a ticketing platform, and that we'll have a whole team for onboarding, have a whole team, that will be setting up, because I'm with the Michigan Festivals Association and we're a part of the International Festival Alliances with every state and every festival association across the United States for sure, and attend conventions, be able to take our that'll be the interesting part. Like, we see so much hype around like crypto conventions and people going and setting up their experiential displays, a 10 by 10 footprint, and then they have like their banners and all that kind of stuff at like a lot of these crypto conventions. Like, we're literally going to be doing that, but for festival associations and at conventions in the real world, because this is going to be like blockchain technology tickets, but stuff that everybody can use, stuff that people, if it's a festival or a rib fest or wherever, that it won't be limited to just the crypto market and a crypto convention. The other utility that we will be having is, I know a lot of people have been asking about the BSE chart. It'll end up having, it's going to be a very simple, basic concept utility of a chart. It'll have a swap. We're working on the aspects of the dev message board and the dev rating system, and then also potentially like some additional parts that a community member had mentioned that it'd be cool if there was a message board and comment section just per token. So we're trying to figure out if that's feasibility, but that's still slated for second quarter. Been working with the devs from DGEM as well on utilizing some of their code that they utilize on their exchange. One of the big things that you did for us in the last couple of weeks, Mike, was help facilitate that the Wi-Fi exchange and us getting listed on there.
Yeah.
And the cool part of being able to see that is, we like this aspect, and it's not like you're, going in and being like, we want to.
No, it gives you ideas on what works and what's what's practical, absolutely, and what's beneficial.
Yeah, and it's a slick platform. It's super clean. I love, like we were chatting the other day, like they added the socials and they added the links at the bottom, like little aspects of that. The biggest difference what we'll have is that we're not going to be marketing it as an exchange or a swap per se, but basically as a platform for people to read charts, to be able to use a swap. And then also marketing digital banner ads that we'll have, similar to what you see on a lot of the other, websites now currently, like a PooCoin. Sell those ads. That'll be EverReflect buys. It'll just go back into the chart as well. But those are the two utilities. Like those, we're keeping it simple in a lot of ways. And I know from the aspect of inflated ideas that we see so often in the crypto space, it's okay. It's okay that you see like projects that are going to do 17 different utilities.
Yeah, exactly. They have like 6 pages of utilities, and sometimes it's better just to focus on 2 or 3 and really make them quality.
Right.
Because that's when the real work's going to begin for you guys. Once that platform is done and you can start actually selling that to people and to really get them on it, that's when the real fun's going to begin.
Right. I'm going back to like what Jack Welch, if you've ever read his biography, and what he did with GE. And back in the 80s, basically, GE downgraded because they owned hundreds of different companies.
Yeah.
But he only wanted companies within DE that would be 1 or 2. Well, we're picking basically these 2 utilities, the first one being something in the BSE bubble, the second one our flagship that's well outside of the BSE bubble. But we're focusing on building this correctly because the plan is that there won't be a need for more utilities other than the ticketing, because if the ticketing platform is adopted, and when it's adopted is what I should say, but how fast it gets adopted, you need all of the if you've ever used Eventbrite, or if you've ever used RegFox or Ticketmaster, so much support. There's so much support that goes into the ticketing purchase, that if you've had issues with refunds, if you needed maintenance, if you ended up having to onboard basically people to sell their tickets, there's so much that goes into it's funny, like the concept of like Google, right? Like Google's such a simple website. Like you look at the Google search
simple
function,
as can be, yeah.
But how much money and how much goes into that, and how much work is there behind the curtain? Because there's so much that goes into it as far as resources, to be able to get it done correctly, as far as SEO and algorithms, and being able to buy on other aspects, like when with YouTube. And there's so many components to a simple website to make sure it's done clean, but then it's also done in a manner where people are able to utilize it efficiently. And that's what we're going for with this platform as well. Like it's going to be simple for the consumer, simple for the onboarding for the festival or the event, super complex in the background. Like all of the different Web3 applications of being able to just like take fiat simply in a couple clicks to be able to put an NFT minted ticket into that app, and then work on the progression of that NFT ticket being able to be in your EverReflect app, but then be able to convert it over to, say, your Apple Wallet. Like these are all the little aspects of it. Seems so simple when you're doing it on a daily basis, but we're doing this all now so that it's built correctly. And I'm very confident with so far the 8 different locations. 6 of them have joined already. The other 2 just don't even have venues, or they don't have any kind of aspects of needing to sell tickets at the moment. Everybody's been open to the idea, and everybody is looking for an answer to their ticketing woes. Because if you're a venue or if you're a festival and you sell your tickets on Ticketmaster, it comes with, okay, let me relate it to this. Like anybody that's been a part of a project, and you're a part of the team, or you're part of like the pre-sale, let's say, or you're a part of like the private sale, and you're part of the whitelist, and everybody's excited. There's all this hype, and it's like, okay, where are we going to launch? Well, man, we probably should pair our own liquidity, because that'd be the safest, and then we're not going to have to worry about tokens getting saved, taken from like the launch pad. But how often do people end up choosing Pink Sale? Not because of the fact that like
it's the best, because it's not. But
you know what you're getting into when you sign up for Pink Sale. It's like, well, they're going to take 2% of this and 2% of that, and there's going to be 2 BNB here and 1 BNB here and 1 BNB there, and then KYC here and audit here, like all these other aspects. But people still choose Pink Sale because basically, we could argue this, but like at least they're one of the market leaders for launch pads. Mm-hmm. That's what you see with Ticketmaster. And I still utilize Ticketmaster, and I still have a lot of colleagues and a lot of other events that utilize that platform, especially some of my best friends that work for Live Nation, because Live Nation owns, or is partnered, they should technically owns Ticketmaster. They have to utilize it. Like there's no other option, because it does what it's supposed to do. Are you going to get hit with some massive fees? Like if you're going to buy a $50 ticket and then all of a sudden you check out and then that ticket's like $90, $85 for a $50 ticket, yep. You're like, that sucks. $35 on top of a $50 ticket, but it was easy. It's in my wallet. I want to go see, the Killers. And if I'm going to go see the Killers, I got to buy the ticket there because that's the only venue that they're playing at. That's just the way that the ticketing industry works, and we can improve it. And even if we start out with a platform that's only improving it slightly, that will be adopted. I mean, if anybody's looked at the history of Eventbrite and what they've turned into, or some of the other smaller ones, like the market is there. The market is there, no question. And
it's just getting your product and your platform in front of people, because once they use it, they're going to see the functionality and the benefits of it, like you said. So they're going to want to use it.
Well, I like that we're taking an approach, and I told this to Noodles just earlier this week. I was like, we're going to be one of the few ticketing services that does customization as far as the graphics. Like, we will have our own graphics department, even though we do technically already with Noodles, but expand upon that graphics department, because I want that NFT ticket to hold value and kind of have some intrinsic value to the holder well beyond the event, because they're just like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I love the artwork. I like that it was custom. I like that it's unique, as opposed to just like a QR code printed off on your PDF from your home computer. This will have the ability to be something that people want to hold on to for years to come. Or I was telling the story to Chris the other day about, like, some of the events that I was a part of at Michigan State back in like 2000, 2001. One of those shows was with Maroon 5. And we paid them $1,500. Nobody knew who they were because it's 2000, 2001.
Yeah,
they hadn't blown up yet. But I still have a bunch of those old posters of concerts that I did with Jason Mraz and Death Cab for Cutie and the White Stripes and stuff like that. It holds some sentimental value because you can't go back and you can't relive it, but you still have this memento of, wow, that was a one-off poster for that one date that they played the Union Ballroom on May 15th. Like, we want to turn this aspect of NFT art into something that can be utilized by ticket vendors or ticket sellers, and still have that artwork component too, because it'll hold some value, not just monetarily. It'll hold some of that, like, value to the holder of, like, I was there, I saw this. And
and artwork was always a big part of rock. If you remember back in, like, right, even before our time in like the 60s and 70s, the artwork that was on records, and people used to buy, right, always buy those classic iconic Jimi Hendrix posters, with all the psychedelic colors and all. Like, art has always been associated with rock, and just music in general, but it's kind of almost a forgotten, it's kind of almost seems like it's died off a little bit. So I do like that you're going to, offer that with it. Are you going to have more than one option for artwork for these, different events, or is it going to be like a standard one for just one for each one?
No, I mean, the game plan is that it's custom.
Yeah.
That every aspect of this will be custom to that specific event. To if it's the venue, for example, the venue might have a standard model as far as where the copy goes, where the QR code goes, where the price goes, mm-hmm, but the actual body of the ticket, as far as the graphic component of it, that can all be customized.
That's cool.
It can all be unique across multiple tickets. Chris has an amazing process of being able to mass mint NFTs, which has been, if anybody's been in the NFT side of crypto, they know that, like, minting an NFT isn't all that difficult. Minting 1,000 of the same NFTs with slight variations can be very, very tricky. And we're getting this process down so that we'll be able to do that. If you say wanted to go see one concert, and every single ticket out of 500, for example, could be all the same ticket with slight variations, or just like movements to, like, where certain graphics are on the ticket. There's a lot of capabilities with the art component of these tickets. And the other part about the art that I think is really kind of, from my perspective, like, I'm a big history guy. Bill Graham, not Billy Graham, not the preacher, but Bill Graham is like one of my heroes. And Bill Graham Presents was like the founder of the Fillmores. So there used to be only the Fillmore West and the Fillmore East, which one was in LA, in California, and then the other one was in Denver. He used to do a lot of those psychedelic posters based on whatever show was being played at whatever Fillmore, but everything's custom. And so you would see, if you go, and even if you look it up now and you try to find these Bill Graham Presents custom posters, like, tens of thousands of dollars for certain ones, because like that Jimi Hendrix poster that you're referring to,
Yeah.
that wasn't done by Jimi Hendrix. That
No.
was done by Bill Graham. Like he was the promoter in the 70s and 80s
Yep.
that everybody tried to copy. And yeah, I want to bring a little bit of that historical aspect to the artwork portion of these NFT tickets.
Let me ask you, since it is digital with everything with NFTs, is the artwork limited to just still images, or can it be something else?
No, it could definitely be, GIFs.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Moving, yeah. So going back to the taxation, if we're talking about how the taxes for a specific ticket might be $100 for the ticket face value, EverReflect Marketing LLC would keep $25 of like $115 ticket, right? That's based on the weight of the digital components that go into the blockchain.
Got it.
So the prices will vary if you basically put more weight onto the blockchain with a bigger graphic. So the cheapest tickets would be just your standard JPEGs or PNGs.
Right.
But if you start getting into GIFs and if you start getting into moving things, then that will vary the price. And that'll be kind of one of the kind of package options that you can look at from a venue, because if you're selling a $500 ticket, you're probably not concerned that you're going to be minting a ticket for $3 or $4 or $5 every ticket, because you want the cool digital graphics and you want everything to move. If it's a $20 ticket, you don't want to spend that much money to be able to mint a ticket that's on the blockchain. So then you're probably going to go for the standard, cheaper JPEG option. The other aspect of this is that because we're traded on BSC, cross-chain stuff in the future, that you start looking at the other blockchains, and we know that some of the fees are cheaper. We just saw this with part of the reason that AMA happened the other day that we wanted with Metabolic was, one, they're great guys, and we wanted to hear about their video game, but they just signed a partnership with Polygon Studios. And from our perspective, Polygon Studios does a lot of stuff on Polygon, which is a cheaper blockchain for as far as fees, which means cheaper NFTs. So the conversations I'm having with some of these other devs and the people that we'll invite into our house to have AMAs with us, and maybe it doesn't on the forefront seem like, well, why the hell is EJ hosting an AMA with a group that's developing a video game? There's always a method to my madness. There's always a reason that maybe this won't benefit us today as far as the partnership, and maybe this won't benefit us next month because of the partnership. But logically in my head, I'm thinking, okay, if they do this and they have a massive partnership with Polygon Studios, who knows where Polygon Studios couldn't benefit EverReflect in, say, a month or 6 months or a year. So there's always going to be that aspect of like any of the partnerships that we talk about. And one of the biggest partnerships that I haven't even brought up is the one we're forging with Nobility.
Yeah, that one's going to be great. That I am so excited about that, because those esports and the people who watch it, I never understood it. I grew up, we're about the same age, and we grew up in the real early days of like playing online against other people and stuff like that. But yeah, I never understood the concept until my son, who's now 13 years old, years ago he would just be watching other kids playing video games and like in tournaments and stuff, and I never got it. I would say, why the hell are you watching other people play video games? And now I get it, and it's a huge market for it.
Right, and you think about any kid that is between 8 and 13 years old right now, most of them are playing video games. They're probably playing Fortnite. They're probably watching other kids play Fortnite.
Right, they are.
On YouTube or Twitch. And so it's a whole industry of 8 to 13-year-olds that'll eventually become 20 to 30-year-olds. And then eventually they'll get as old as our old butts. Yeah. But it's coming, and what Nobility is doing is not only are they getting into the sports book and sports betting world, but they're a huge component in the esports world. They're one of their founders is building esports arenas, And I don't know the exact number, but it's coming later this year. And I think it's into the 20 plus of these esport arenas that'll be going up around the United States and potentially globally. And we're already in discussions with them about, all right, how do we implement specific EverReflect NFT tickets for all your esport arenas?
Because that's the perfect demographic. I mean, that is the perfect demographic to introduce that to, you know, because, yeah, that's awesome, man. I think that's a very underrated partnership that you guys have forged that, you know, could be just enormous to hitch your wagon to.
Yeah, and the partnerships are going to keep growing. We're going to keep doing them. It's not going to always make sense potentially in the moment when we introduce it or when we end up hosting an AMA, but it's consistency, guys. Like, that's what this project always will be. It'll always be hard work day in and day out. We will be consistent. We're not going to get distracted by other things that could be potentially our utilities or our goals. We're staying focused on the target, and that target will be accomplished. Will it happen exactly today? Will all the beta tickets be dropped tomorrow versus Wednesday or over the next week or the next 2 weeks? It's all coming, and it's all going to be a buildup of what we've been trying to do this whole time, of like consistent behavior with consistent goals that people are going to start seeing little aspects of it. And before you know it, it's going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I just bought a ticket. Oh, yeah, we're going to an event that has the EverReflect logo on it because I wanted to attend something in Bay City, Michigan, and go get some ribs. I mean, that's how this stuff works. I've seen it for years. I've seen it with artists for years. I've seen it with festivals that blow up for years. And we're going to do the same. We're going to blow up. I do have to go here in a minute.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to, that's what I was just going to say. I'm going to get you going, but
Mike, I love you, man. I love, because I was just like, we're gonna have to be kind of quick tonight because there's a basketball game. Michigan State's my alumni. I'm an alumni with Michigan State, so
it's gonna be a hard game though, for sure. But yeah, I know. We just start getting talking and it just can go on forever. But I love how deep we got to dig into this, because these are all things that have been touched upon and all. But I love how deep we got to really dig into it today. I mean, this is some great information. We can maybe have time for one question if anybody, has. Anybody have any questions or want to chime in real quick? We got to get EJ out of here in a minute. But being an AMA, I wanted to at least give him one question if you guys have anything.
And then over this next week, the true plan is to get some video out there of people that actually have received the focus group NFT tickets. Some of the part of the beta testing is you have to wait till the event actually takes place. Right. So some of these events will be taking place, this month and next month. And then, we're going to also, right around the first of this month, we'll at least be able to show at least the overview of what the BSC chart's going to look like.
That's cool.
And then probably give a much more specific target date. I will always be a stickler that we're going to stick to second quarter for the BSC chart and third quarter for the NFT tickets. I don't do that to be evasive. I don't do that because of the fact that we're trying to cover for not working or some other crap that people might be concerned about. It's literally to manage expectations. And with anything, you don't want to give promises and then not deliver them. So until we have specific dates, I will promise that they will happen in those time frames that we've discussed as far as the white paper and the quarters. But just to manage expectations for everybody, that I get that there's a lot of emotion and a lot of excitement around these types of projects, but with that also comes some insecurity, and we want to give people as much confidence and take away the insecurity as much as possible.
All right, so last question is Michigan State going to win today?
Yes, no question, no hesitation. I'm so happy that we moved this to 4 o'clock, though, because if this game does run into 7 p.m. like we were going to do this AMA,
yeah, it would have
and it's close. Oh, I'll be texting you.
You know what's funny? The game's actually taking place less than 10 minutes from my house.
I know.
I've
gone to see them. I went to see them when they were in the Final Four a few years ago, and I've seen them at a lot of the regional games. And obviously, I live in Lansing, so the arena is only about 10 minutes from my place. So I've been to the Breslin hundreds of times. But yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, I don't think by any means that Michigan State will dominate the game and have a big lead. So it's going to either be Duke runs away with it, and then they get an early, advantage and kind of pushes, a 10, 20-point lead or something like that, because Duke's a good team. Or they stay close, and then we have a chance, with a few minutes left. And if there's a chance with a few minutes left, I was going to be.
That's all you want. You want a good game. You want to be in it till the end and have a chance. Well, let's get you to the bar. Let's get some drinks in you, and we'll all root for Michigan State on your behalf. Thank you again, EJ from EverReflect, for joining us on our first AMA here. And we'll definitely be having you back very often. You know that.
Oh, without a doubt. Great job setting up this room. And everything you've done is, as far as becoming a crypto influencer, you're one of my favorite people. And you're doing an amazing job and helping so many projects. So I just want to acknowledge that. And
thank you, man. It's been a crazy ride since we first met, man. But definitely definitely trying to embrace it, and working with a lot of great projects. And I think it's awesome. It's a lot of fun for sure.
And the best part is that on this roller coaster, we're still on the incline going up. We haven't even gone down the big one.
Nope.
It's still climbing. So
we are still climbing. All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy your game. And I'll get this over to you in the form of a packaged up video so you can share it with your group, because I think there's a lot of great information and updates that they're going to love to hear.
Without a doubt. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Have a great evening. See you, Mike.
All right, bye-bye now. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for this AMA. EJ dropped a lot of great information on us today. I will be posting this both in my group and EverReflect's group, so keep an eye out for that. Make sure you guys are subs to the channel so you can get the updates as soon as they come out. All right, guys, have a great rest of the night. I'll talk with a lot of you guys in the room shortly.